Hey y'all, this is Anne Marie, the Anti-HR HR lady, and I want to talk a little bit about what you should do if you are in a workplace where there is no structured human resources department and you're dealing with discrimination or other workplace problems like bullying, toxic hostile workplace, etc. If this sounds familiar to you, definitely watch this video. I'm Anne Marie, the Anti-HR HR lady, and I provide HR support and advice to employees who are dealing with discriminatory, toxic, hostile work environments. And I give them strategies and help them develop strategies to escape and exit with a negotiated separation with severance. So if that is of interest to you, please watch this video. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Now, lots of people have come to me, no, not lots, but a handful of people have come to me indicating that they're in a work environment where they're dealing with discrimination or other workplace abuses, and there's no HR department, or they're not sure of the HR department because it doesn't seem to be a structure. There is always a person or an entity or a team of people who are doing HR in a company. A lot of times with startups, especially, small businesses, family-owned businesses, there is not a structural human resources. Sometimes people do this because they don't know, and sometimes they do it on purpose as a way to skirt following the law and doing things that they should do. But regardless, employees are required to follow anti-discrimination laws, and so if in fact your employer is not doing that, you need to be documenting, and you need to raise a claim and create a strategy to get out of there and make them be accountable by paying you for you to leave. Now, if you're in an organization where it's not clear who human resources is, that's a red flag, right? So when you're looking for a job, if they don't have a human resources department and they're individuals messaging you, you might even want to inquire before you take the job about who is in charge of human resources. But if for whatever reason you didn't notice until you got there, and then you realize in fact that there is no clarity around who is responsible for HR, ask. Don't wait till something goes wrong to find out. Ask, who's responsible for HR on my team, in my department, in my division, or in the organization? If it is a small business or startup where there isn't a structural HR, and as I said, small businesses, startups, and I've also found this, believe it or not, in law firms. I've had clients who ran into this in law firms, and I was able to help them. But even in law firms, probably because the lawyers think because they know the law, they don't need an HR, but that's not a good idea either. You may find that there's not an HR department, but there's always someone who's responsible for onboarding, responsible for getting payroll done. Payroll often sits in finance, but sometimes it sits in HR. Start with that person, right? But if push comes to shove and there's no clarity, or people are trying to dick you around and not tell you who it is, there's always a president and CEO. There's always an executive director. Shit rolls downhill, right? So go to the top of the organization. Now, I don't recommend you do that without having a very clear strategy and a very clear end game. But it's definitely something that you should do if there's nowhere else for you to go. And also it's something for you to do if the person that you're having problems with is in fact in charge of HR. So if your person works in HR, you may find that you can't go to the HR department because the person who's the problem is in charge of HR. Then you got to think about, who does that person report to? Everybody answers to somebody. Even presidents have boards. So if that's the rationale, where you go is above that person, whoever that person reports to. But again, I do not recommend going to the head of the organization with a complaint that is not fully thought through, does not have the right key points, doesn't have the right tone, doesn't have the right narrative, and doesn't give the right messaging, and where you have not clearly thought through what your end game is and what you want out of the process. Okay, so definitely if you find yourself in a situation where there is no clear human resources, please book a discovery call. Let's talk and figure out a strategy for how you still navigate that process and come out of the organization with what it is that you want. But definitely know that you still have recourse, even if it's not clear about human resource, or where human resources sits and who it is that is in charge of it. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. As always, I'm Anne Marie, the Anti-HR lady. Remember that HR is not your enemy, but they're definitely not your friend. But I am I'll see you in the next video. Bye.